To test your Excel skills, in this video we'll go over 5 Excel challenges from level 1 all the way to level 5, and it starts easy but progressively gets much harder. Let's find out how many you can solve. Starting with level 1, here's the file with the instructions for it, and you can download it for free in the video description to follow along. So here it's asking us to calculate the discount amount based on two conditions with formulas. So we want a 10% discount if the price is over 500 but less than or equals to 1000. Then secondly, a 15% discount if the price is greater than 1000. And if it's less than 500, then just no discount being applied. I'm assuming we need to put the actual discount amounts over here. Before we get into the answer, feel free to actually give it a try on your own. If not, I'm just gonna solve it step by step now. You'll notice we have a lot of these ifs. That means that it's probably got to do with an if formula somewhere. So let's put an if in here, and the easiest test we can check is the 15% discount when it's greater than 1000. So that's just that if the spend here is greater than the 1000, then that means that we should probably multiply this figure by 15%, which is 15 and a percentage, comma, and closing it and just leaving it like that. Well, we don't really account for that first part then. So we actually need to go back in here and create a nested if. So instead of a false, if the scenario is not true, we want to do another scenario. So we'll put another if statement in here. This time it's the same condition, so the spend has to be greater than 500. In that case, we want to multiply this by 10% instead of that 15. So we're saying if it's greater than 500, 10%, but if it's greater than 1000, then 15%. Now we can close that last parenthesis and hit enter. Let's go ahead and test this out by double clicking. And you'll notice this one's telling us false. Basically, because it doesn't fulfill the criteria, we get a false. But instead, no discount is applied here, it says on the instructions. So maybe it makes more sense to just put a comma here and value false, just two quotations, which is the same thing as leaving it empty. Now let's double click here to drag it down, and we should have all the right answers. To be honest, I didn't find that level 1 to be particularly easy, especially as we had to do a nested if statement. Alright, now progressing to level 2, and hopefully you're still in the game. Let's take a look at the instructions over here. It says to highlight in yellow the cells in range D6 to E25, so basically this whole range over here, that have the same month as cell B6. Don't do this manually. So cell B6 is here, and we're not really looking for an exact match. Instead, we're looking for the month to be the same. Now, to extract the month, I would typically use the month formula, so equals month. This is the month here, and let me hit enter. That's month 5, and I would just do the same thing with this other one. So month for this side is month 8, and that's one way to find out if the months are matching or not. That said, I want to make this as automated as possible, so we want to be able to actually highlight the matching months. And for that, I'm thinking of just doing a conditional formatting and using the month formula inside of it. So I'm just going to select all of these start dates over here and then head over to conditional format, and I'm going to select a new rule. Within this pop-up, I'm looking for a formula. So use a formula to determine which cells to format. And the formula I'm thinking is the month that we just used. So it's equals to the month formula. And then in parentheses here, we want to make sure that first it's the B6. That's one side. You'll notice there's dollar signs in front. And that's fine because as we drag this down, we want it to stay fixed on this cell. And we want that to be equals to the month that we see on the start date. So that's actually on the E6. Let me add that in parentheses actually, E6. But this time I'm not going to put any dollar signs as I don't want it fixed. I want it to be able to move down across all of these other dates. When that matches, then we want to change the format. And more specifically, it's going to be the fill color. Let me add a yellow there. That can account for the highlight that we've been instructed. Now let's press on OK to see what that looks like. And you can see it's matching all of those that are in the month 5 in the month of May. So that's looking all correct. Awesome, that's level 2 done, and now moving up to more advanced stuff in level 3, and honestly, I don't think more than 10% of Excel users can get this one right. Let's take a look. Here's the instructions, and first it's saying to identify all unique departments from column B and add them to column E. So basically within this whole list, we want to find the unique ones. Actually, let's go ahead and try doing that now. I can just use the unique function for it. Hit the tab key there, and the array is just this area. Hit enter there, and we have all the unique departments. That's the first part done. Then it says to group all the members of each department in the same cell. The names should be separated by a comma and a space, like Michael, comma, space, and then Sarah. And then it says to place the results in the members column next to each department. Use formulas where possible. So over here, we want to be able to add under finance, it would be Mike, comma, space, and then Sarah. And then for legal, it would be all of these other people, etc. I think that for something like this, it's probably a combination of formulas. So first, I'm going to start with a filter, which I think might be a good starting point. Equals filter, hit the tab key, and as the array, we want all of the different names. You can see the array as the answer that you're gonna get out. So we just want the names as the answer. Comma as the include, we want the departments when they're equals to some of these over here. So we're gonna select all of the departments, Control Shift down there, and when they're equals to this one, and then as we move this down, it's the next one, etc. Then we're gonna get different answers. We just wanna make sure we lock this area right here by pressing the F4 key. This way, as we drag this down to the other departments, it's gonna stay fixed. The E8 here, we don't want it fixed as we want it to move down across the different departments. Now you'll notice that we get Mike and Sarah for this first one. If we check over here, that makes sense as both Mike and Sarah are part of the finance department. We now have to find a way to put them next to each other like in the example here. So it should be Mike, comma, space, and then Sarah. For that, I'm thinking of using a text formula like the text join. Let's take a look at how to do that within the filter. So here at the very start, I'm just gonna type text join, hit the tab key there, and the delimiter is basically how do you wanna space these people out. So how are you going to list out Mike and then Sarah? Well, I wanna list them with a comma and a space. So in quotations, I'm gonna put a comma, followed by a space, and close the quotations. Then we'll put a comma again. For the ignore empty, I don't think it really matters, so I'm just gonna put a true in here for now, comma, and as the text, we're just gonna leave all of this stuff as is. Then at the very end, we wanna close out that parenthesis and hit enter. Let's see how that works. I'm gonna double click here on the side to drag it down, and you can see that they're all being lined up within one cell. They have a comma and a space as a separator too. Well done on making it this far, and now moving up to level 4, and my guess is that only about 5% of Excel users can solve this one. That said, if you're finding this a bit too difficult, just know that it's completely normal, and I'd recommend actually learning Excel in a structured way, like taking our Excel for Business and Finance course. With our comprehensive curriculum, we'll cover all the essentials ranging from formatting best practices and shortcuts, to building awesome visual dashboards, creating large dynamic financial models, and much more. This is basically the course I wish I had before I had started working in an Excel-heavy corporate job. If all of that sounds interesting, head over to the link in the description below. And if you want more than just Excel, we also have several other courses like Power BI, Finance and Valuation, and much more, which you can find in the link in the description as well. Alright, back to the video. Now getting into level 4, here it says that without using a mouse, do the following steps on the table below, so this whole range here. First, to move the data one column to the right, instead of starting in column B, we want it to start in column C. And remember, the key thing here is to not use a mouse. So I'm thinking for that first part, I'm gonna press Ctrl A to select the entire table here, and then press Ctrl X to select all of that and cut it. Just gonna move one to the right with the arrows and Ctrl V. That was easy enough, and that's the first part done. Then secondly, it says to change the color of the header row to this particular hex code and change the font color to white. So let's try that. I'm just gonna press Ctrl Shift right to select all of the headers there, and the shortcuts I'm gonna start using are the Alt keys. So first it's gonna be Alt H. You'll notice that's going to open up this whole fill area, and within it we want to go to a custom color, so I need to press M at the end. When I do, you'll see I have this pop-up with the standard and the custom options. I somehow need to get to the customs area without using the mouse. That's not easy at all. In fact, I'm going to be very impressed if you're able to do this. It's actually using the shortcut Control and Tab. When you do, you'll notice that we can navigate across the different tabs. And then to get all the way down to the hex code area, you just want to keep pressing the tab key all the way down to the bottom. And here I'm going to put the 073675 as is instructed. Press on OK there. And now we have part of it done. The second part is the font. So that's Alt H FC. And you don't have to have these completely memorized. In fact, you can just trace your steps. When I press Alt, you'll notice I get the H on the home. So I want to press H. Then you'll notice I have the FC, so I want to press on FC to get to the font. And with the arrows, I can just get to the white part. That's that side done. And then the final instruction here is to add a note saying check this number on cell D14. So it's right here. And to add a note, the shortcut is actually the Shift F2 key. Now, sometimes depending on your keyboard, you're also going to need to press the Fn key. So let's go ahead and try that. There we go, we have that shortcut for the note, and I'm just gonna put check this number in here, and that's all I need. Now if I hover over it, that note should show up. Awesome, now finally getting into the top 1% of Excel users with this level 5. Let's see what we've got in here. It's saying that in the download, you should find a separate folder called sales data with 3 worksheets for the EU, APEC, and the US. If I open up the folder for the sales data, it says for level 5 question, you'll notice that we have these 3 Excel files. That's looking all right. And then your task is to automatically merge the data into a single unified file. The solution should update when changes are made to the original sheets. For this question, there's probably a few different ways we could go about it, but actually I think the most elegant one is using Power Query. Let me show you how to do that. Step 1 for me is just going to be to open up a new Excel file by pressing Ctrl N. This is going to be my unified file with all 3 Excel workbooks in it. Then I'm going to go over to Data and go to Get Data. I'm looking for a specific folder, right? It's going to be the sales folder, so from File, from Folder. Within this pop-up, I'm looking for the sales data. That's where I have all 3 Excel files. I'm going to press on Open there and give it a second. Nice, you can see it's detected all 3 files for APEC, EU, and US. All we need to do now is go to this Combine dropdown and go to Combine and Load. That's gonna load it in here in this Excel file. Then we have this second pop-up and we just need to press on this table 1 for a quick preview and press on OK. That should generate a table like this, where you notice under source name, we don't just have one Excel file, but we have all 3 Excel files unified. You can see we have all of the data for each one too. In fact, we don't even need this source name column. I can delete that and all my data is still going to be there. We've managed to unify all 3 Excel files, but that's not all. In fact, when I go back to one of the original files, like this US one, and just open that up, you'll notice that if I add more data on the bottom, I'm just gonna put test in here and just put a random number, press Ctrl S to save that. And then when I navigate to the unified file, I can go over to data and press on refresh all. When I do, if we scroll all the way down to the very bottom, you'll notice we have this new piece of data in here as well. Before we finish, there is one bonus section to test if you know one of Excel's best kept secrets. Let's take a look here at the instructions. And it says, do you know if there's a way to make a dynamic screenshot of the data below? So I'm assuming it's of this data over here. And by dynamic screenshot, we mean that the screenshot will update automatically if you change the values in the original source. So basically, we want to create a type of picture here on the side where if I change the numbers here, they're going to change on this side automatically. That might sound impossible, but there is an Excel tool called the camera tool that's going to make that possible for us. In fact, it's up here on my Excel file. I'm going to show you how to add it after, but first let me show you what it does. I can select this whole area right here, which is what I want a picture of. Just gonna press on the camera tool and then press anywhere else in the file to see the data. And it's fully dynamic. By that I mean that if I change this value to 0, you'll notice that it changes on this side. It's able to do that automatically. If you want to add that inside of your Excel file too, what you need to do is go to this dropdown, go to more commands, and within this pop-up, instead of popular, just head over to all commands and look for the camera. It's gonna be around the C. I'm just gonna type a C in here and camera should be right here. And I just need to press on add. Once it's on this side, just press on OK and you should find it on the very top of your Excel file. Believe it or not, this actually wasn't that hard of a test. In fact, there's a much harder one over here if you want to test yourself, or if you found this a bit too difficult, you can check out our Excel course over here. Hit the like and the subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one.